What up, though?
I think we're good to go. I think we are good to go.
Oh, we here. What's popping, man?
Hey, it's some new faces up here, man. It's some new faces. Sean,
Oh,
you know the people who we got?
we got. First of all, we got my guy right above me. My first of all, the biggest Jeremy Grant and the biggest Sean Murphy fan on the planet, Adam Baydoun. Adam, it's so good to see you.
Why would you
Beautiful,
not his
man.
most favorite, Russell Westbrook?
Yeah. He always refers to me as the Russell Westbrook of broadcast, which means I'm one of the best in the game. Which is his words, not mine. But
Hey,
then we're also joined by the man, a prominent member of Pistons Twitter, a great
yeah.
editor, a great artist, a great creator, Carl Collins, a guy who's a true supporter and is here in the streams and the chat all the time. But now gets to be up here with us. What's going on, Carl? Thank you so much for being
What's
here,
going
man.
on? Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely, man. And Adam, you look so nice. You look so lovely tonight. It's so good to see
I
you.
think you
Been a
love
long day.
It's been a long day, and it's hey, you're just glad to be here. Don't lie. You look happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything with you, Sean. Anything for you.
Oh man. Oh shucks. You know,
I'm
just
not gonna
that
lie.
make
If Kool-Aid would have told me that you were on the show before, I wouldn't have said yes. But here we are.
Man, I was like, hey, man, let's kind of get him in, and then we'll drop the bomb on him. That sounds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna
You
ignore
trick
that
him. It's
whole
the
Russell
old.
Westbrook
right?
thing. Just trying to stay in a good mood right now.
You got to tell the people about this this background update, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I got to give a shout out to my people at Woodward Sports. We put together some templates and some cool stuff for us for From Half Court, and our guy Justin put together this awesome background for the From Half Court team. And so I saw this background. I was like, well, this has to be my green screen. I have to rep it. And so I've been absolutely loving it. It looks absolutely incredible. So we have some super talented people at Woodward, man. We really do. So
Talented. It's like what
Yeah.
we do on socials, and then we see what they do, and we're just like, oh my gosh.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a whole different level, man. Whole different level.
Yeah, 100%. I'm thinking about I'm like, man, someone put an effort to make this for me? Like that just doesn't feel right at all.
Yeah, we had to call in a lot of favors, Sean. Don't worry.
Yeah, you had to beg some people to really make sure it happened. Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, no,
Hey, man, it makes you want to work a little bit more, man. It really
yeah,
does.
absolutely. Just makes me grateful, and we have an awesome team, man. So I'm just grateful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Carl, sir, man, talk about what you do, man. Talk about your passion. Let's share that with the people real quick.
Yeah, man. So I've been watching Pistons basketball. I'm gonna date myself here, but since the Grant Hill era, that's when I first started. And
Hey, okay.
it's always been a passion of mine. I took a little bit of a break after they traded Chauncey. I came back during the Brandon Jennings era, and as more recently, I started video editing. Um, you know, I don't know what the exact. I guess I was just excited about the team, and I saw videos about other teams, Lakers, all the popular teams like Warriors, and I thought there's no one that really does that for our Pistons and our Detroit teams, so I decided to make my own videos. And I didn't really expect it to go this far. I really just decided to just do that one bit, like my first video, and after that, it was I got some good feedback, and I just decided to make more, and here I am. So,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's kind of cool how a lot of us here just kind of realized that, like, and kind of it's cool that like Woodward Pistons has this spirit of, well, we're not seeing people give the coverage to our team the way that we know that it deserves. So we'll do it ourselves, man. So like the fact that you have people like Kool-Aid, who's been repping for years. I've been following Kool-Aid on Twitter literally for years and seeing this guy represent, and seeing Carl, people like you that take the initiative and say, well, no one's doing this for my team, so I will. And that's going to be the way that we're going to get some awesome creators and people together, man. And the truth is, no one else in the league could do what we're doing for the Pistons, because no one else in the league knows the Pistons the way that we do, man. So it's just awesome that you do what you do, Carl. We're just grateful for you, man. Seriously, you're just such a supportive dude, and we're blessed to have you part
I
of the
don't
community.
know. I'd be careful like bunching we, because apparently I'm a fucking idiot. Because last I knew, Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole are fucking Hall of Fame shooters.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get
Oh, so we're just going there, huh? We're just going there.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying, people want to be fucking stupid. I'm not the guy to talk shit to. I'll talk shit right back. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, okay. What are we talking about, my boys?
Oh my gosh.
Fuck.
Well, anyway.
Hey, we
man.
gotta welcome Deuce. Hey, what's up,
Yeah,
all
what up, Deuce?
regulars?
What's up? Can you guys see me? Is
Yeah.
my video showing?
We can
Yeah,
see you.
okay.
Banks,
Mine looks
what's good,
weird,
bro?
but what's going on, fellas? I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone, but you guys
Hey.
Adam again? What is going on? What's up, bro?
He saw
man.
me. He realized I was here every week and realized it was his opportunity to see me.
Kool-Aid told me, Deuce, it was you, Carl, and him. He didn't tell me Sean was invited, so.
See? You left it out. Can't give out that small detail. Come on, now.
Hey, you know what? Hey, what's up? Go Blue Lexi, what's good?
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
Hey, have you
What's
guys seen
going on?
in any of the streams that Adam has been a part of?
Hey,
I don't think
Hey.
so.
is it a coincidence? I think not. I think not.
But hey, man, shout out to before we get going, shout out to who else is in here, man? Everything King, definitely one of the OGs.
Oh, absolutely,
Also,
man.
Mr. Jeff Hire Frady.
Yes, sir, Jeff.
I'm almost Mr. Everything now. Who else is there, Sean? Mr. Andrew Jonah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Andrew Jonah, Anthony, Pistons Talk. We have an awesome group of people, man. We have a lot of great creators and awesome people in our community. So just shout out to the crew, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Adam, he said he had his kids with him, man.
Oh, man.
My bad, guys.
Yeah,
I
we all
don't have a
speak-
filter.
we all
I'm
speak
working on
freely
it. All right, I'm working on it. But
Adam, never change,
I
please
just have
and
a
thank
rule.
you.
I don't like idiots.
Hey. All
I
right.
agree 100%. No idiot policy here on this show.
None.
I like it.
None.
I break
Hey.
it every week.
Where should we start, man? Are we gonna start with this Jeremy Grant thing? I think we should.
Let's do it.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm the more and more that I'm hearing this stuff, these news, the rumors, the interest in Jeremy Grant, the more and more I'm thinking he's not gonna make it to the season. I know that Troy Weaver really, really likes him, but I'm starting to really, really believe that he might not make it to the season. I don't know
hope
where
you're
everybody else is at on that, man. Definitely put it in the comments or whatever. Tell us your feelings. But the latest news, hey, Phoenix Suns said that they want a sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton. People are kind of linking Jeremy Grant to that situation because they understand the interest that Detroit does have for DeAndre Ayton. Troy Weaver hasn't been bashful about that. But is that the best option? Is giving Jeremy Grant up to Phoenix Suns for DeAndre Ayton, is that better than trading him to Portland for that number 7 if that's what they're looking to do, or trading him for Atlanta for a couple picks or something? I wanted to go around, get everybody's kind of feel for it, because I'm not going to sit here and do the thing of should we trade him, should we not trade him? Look, there's value out there. The more and more that we look at it, there's value.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
I think it just depends on what we need to offer, because it's not going to be a straight up trade 1-for-1. The contracts don't even match up that way, obviously. So I think it would just need to be a situation of where are we in our timeline too. If we feel like, because we talk about the draft, if we think it's going to take time to build, which we think is going to take time, we're not going to be playoff contenders or even on that level next year, possibly. Then maybe we go that route. Maybe we say Portland's pick, we build and try to grab another player who's going to help our squad. But if we think we're ready to take that next move, maybe Ayton is the move. But the thing is, who you add with that? Who are we giving up in addition to Jeremy Grant in order to get a DeAndre Ayton? That's the question, I think, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about what kind of haul do you think you can get back otherwise? Because if you can go and get another top draft pick, yes, it gives you the opportunity to go and get someone else in this draft class and to pull away with some more young talent. But what opportunities do the Detroit Pistons have to add guys like DeAndre Ayton on a regular basis? Because you can get a player like Benedict Mathurin or Keegan Murray almost every year in the draft. There's a litany of wings and 3-and-D guys coming out, but having a number 1 overall pick talent center who we've seen take over games in the playoffs, both on the offensive and defensive end, a guy who's only 24 years old and has a similar trajectory of where he can go and is on a similar timeline to where Detroit's at. I just think if you're gonna trade Jerami Grant, to have a situation where you can bring in a guy to that talent, I think it's a hard thing to not consider.
I thought I was sold on trading Jerami Grant for the picks, primarily because the cap space. I want to see what Troy Weaver can do with that, but the more and more I think about it and listening to Sean talk, I don't know, man. I think that DeAndre Ayton instantly speeds up this rebuild, instantly puts the Pistons. If Cade Cunningham takes the steps we think he can, instantly puts them in the thick of things in the East. We're not talking about play-in. We're not talking about 8th or 7th. The expectations have to change right away because Saddiq Bey is going to be in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Cunningham, we believe that this guy's going to take a leap towards all-star worthy. You know what I'm saying? Sean, I think you might be right, man. If we're talking about the same stuff with taking a swing for Ivy, if he's available because of the potential,
mm-hmm.
I almost feel like you got to say, you know what, F the cap space, go with DeAndre Ayton. It'll be the best use of the cap space.
Yeah.
That much cap space the Pistons have probably ever done. Like, I keep thinking about all their big signings,
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to do a sign and trade. You have to get the salaries to somewhat match up anyway. So even when you're talking salary cap, all you're really doing is just putting the long-term money in Ayton. The money itself of what you'd have going forward is still there. So there's still salary room to play. So that'd be my other argument too.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton will cost $35 million a year on the max contract that the Suns can offer. 5 years, $35 million. It's about 179.
Which we can only offer him 4. We can only offer him 4. So you only bring it in for 4 seasons.
There you go. Well, not even that. I think Deuce brought it up earlier. What's the timeline? You bring in DeAndre Ayton, and let's say Cade Cunningham isn't a superstar top 10 player in the league until year 4. Well, that's 3 years from now. And then Ayton's on the last year of his contract. And what have you done since then? You've been a 5 seed, a 4 seed, maybe a 3 seed, then a 6 seed. And you're picking 15, 18, 22. All right, you're drafting role players. Who's the star player next to Cade? That's why this number 5 pick is so important, because I just don't believe the Pistons are going to suck in year 2 with Cade Cunningham, Saddiq Bey going into year 3. I think Killian Hayes will be a nice role player. Marvin Bagley showed his value down the stretch for the team. Cade was one of, if not arguably the most clutch basketball player in the fourth quarter after the All-Star break. It was unbelievable. So you've got the guy, whether or not you surround him with Jaden Ivey or another potential star player in the draft. It's on Troy Weaver, but at the end of the day, you get DeAndre Ayton. You may not even see DeAndre Ayton in an Eastern Conference final. He may not even be part of the team that gets to that in 5, 6 years. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Carl, Lexi, let's get you guys in here. What you guys?
Yeah, so I'm just glad that we're having this conversation right now, because that means we have flexibility. There's options.
Yeah.
I think we have our full trust in Troy Weaver, and if he decides to extend the timeline a little bit, if he wants to, pass on Ayton, I trust him on that. But personally, what I'd like to see is us sign Ayton. If it takes Jerami Grant to do it, I'm all for it. I think I do think that Cade's going to take a big leap. I think Saddiq's going to take a big leap, and I think we really could, speed it up a little bit, and especially if it depends too, because I mean we can pass on Ayton and sign Jalen Duren with our 7th pick if we decide to trade Jerami to Portland. But we have flexibility, so I'm just thankful for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
For so many years we're tied up with the SVG era, and even before then with all these,
Yeah.
So
that's what I feel too, though, is just having the options of not being like freaking out, worrying about what we have to do and whatnot, but just comfortably believing in Troy, and then just seeing like what happens and where it goes from here. But I would like to sign Ayton. I would. I think that it would speed up the process in a lot of this. But we'll see what happens. That's
Yeah.
a lot coming up here next week. So
Yeah,
Lexi,
you know,
go ahead, Adam.
Oh, go ahead, Deuce. Go ahead. You're good.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what Lexi said about Troy Weaver. It's the Weaver effect. I mean, there were so many years in the past where it'd be breaking news and your heart would just drop. Uh-oh. What just happened? What did we just do now?
It's just like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah. But with Troy, it's like you're licking your chops. Oh, breaking news. What did he do now? What did he just pull off this time? So I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah.
Who'd he fleece this time is generally the way I look at it now.
Yeah, we're talking about trading Jerami Grant for Ayton, and I don't think Ayton's agent is going to allow it unless they do the Supermax sign and trade. I think that's the deal he's going to get. So you're going to eat that 5-year contract, and it's going to be max dollars. And my question is, I think we're all on the same page. But who's Detroit getting in free agency? Kevin Durant. Okay, like, all right, everybody can have a dream. I would love that. I hope I'm wrong, but the Detroit Pistons have never signed a marquee free agent, a top 3, top 5, top 6 player in the league at the time. They'll never do it because it's just not the market we are.
Right.
Not because the team can't be good, not because Cade isn't an attractive star player who could one day become a superstar. It's just the reality of there's Miami and there's LA, and it's tough to compete against Miami and LA in free agency.
And that's why when you have the chance, that's why when you have the chance, sorry to interrupt, Adam, but like that's why, in my opinion, when Detroit, like you said, you're not a free agency destination. You're not a team that guys are looking at and going, oh well, I want to live in Detroit. I mean, that's just never, we're never the top of the list of glamour cities to live in. But like you said, Adam, like when you have the opportunity, like I said, you don't have the opportunity much, but when you do. And all it costs, if you're worrying about, oh well, do you want to give up Jerami when you could get a number 7 overall pick? These are the situations where like that should matter a little less, because like what matters is, are you getting a guy that can help your team win now and win going forward? And I think the answer with Ayton, I mean, is a resounding yes. You need paint protection, especially on this roster, and so that would just make such a big difference. It really would.
I know on the Woodward Pistons podcast, Rob Beard said that he believes the Pistons are going to kick the tires, but ultimately the bidding price, like the bidding war, is going to just send this price a little bit too high for the Pistons, and ultimately they just don't have the capital beyond Grant and what other teams may offer up. So if they're feeling the same way you are, Sean, about DeAndre Ayton, these other teams may say, you know what? Let's throw in another young player that we know Detroit's just not going to match to do. Because he says he knows Detroit's not going to throw in their young players to get a DeAndre Ayton. So that's what happened. He said that they have no problem with paying the money. There was a time when everyone believed that just sliding a blank check over to DeAndre Ayton could get the Phoenix Suns to flinch. We were talking about that maybe a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, and it's so crazy how quickly this whole thing has changed for DeAndre Ayton. Instantly. He's somebody that in this trade market, everybody's looking at, like even, contenders. They're like, you know what? We're seeing her going in the East. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of
the Hawks
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starting to get, the interest from the Hawks. Portland.
The Hornets. The Hornets have even been linked.
Yeah, there's out of nowhere. So now all of a sudden Detroit is forced into a situation where, they might not be able to get DeAndre Ayton, but I'm glad that the consensus is that they're gonna at least try.
And ultimately, like we said, there's other options. There's guys like Thomas Bryant that'll be in free agency, Mitchell Robinson. There's Jalen Duren at number 7. But let's be clear in that those are not the same players. You are getting what you're paying for when you sign a guy like DeAndre Ayton. There's a reason why you pay the premium, and it's because Mitchell Robinson's a shell of what DeAndre Ayton can do in the offensive end. I mean, Mitchell Robinson is literally just a lob threat.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitchell Robinson.
Speak of, really.
Yeah, the last 3 seasons he has not eclipsed 8 points. And he is not a threat to spread the floor either. Right. So those are 2 big things you're not getting with Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah. So when people say why pay for him when you can get Mitchell Robinson, that's why.
He scores everything that he catches. So as it relates to the pick and roll threat, as it relates to tough defense, playing, there's just kind of that murky, muddle things up in the middle, the way that like Miami does. He will bring that. Now, obviously, he is not DeAndre Ayton, but he also isn't going to be getting paid what DeAndre Ayton is getting paid, and that's where we have to start that value. Can you get by with, say, Mitchell Robinson and bringing back Marvin Bagley, and then using that money to bring in something, in another trade or to bring in another free agent. Troy Weaver has brought in my opinion, some pretty sneaky good free agent signings. He's gotten a little bit more out of some of these players, man. When I look at Frank Jackson, I wish he didn't get injured because that guy's wow, how are they getting this out of him? Threes, he was starting to dribble a little bit more, getting into the lane and all that. And so I do want to see what he can do. Hey, I'm one for the fireworks, bro. If they can get DeAndre Ayton, I want to see DeAndre Ayton. If they can get Jaden Ivey, I'm all the way in the camp with Adam. You gotta do something right now. If this team is talking about play-in and all this, they're no longer gonna get those picks that we think are transformative.
Exactly. Get your opportunity to get a star now, man.
That's the team you got to put out there on the floor. I mean, if we believe that Sadiq Bey is as good as we think he is, then why not swing and go get another player? Seriously, why not just say, you know what, we have it right now, and it won't cost us too much to go ahead and do that. It's not like they're sitting there saying, "Oh man, we're gonna have to pay the luxury tax for this."
Yeah. Now
you're really swapping out a player. Jerami Grant, his max is looking at $28 million a year. It's interesting to hear the DeAndre Ayton one is only $7 million more than Grant. You got to pull that trigger if you have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And Troy's always looking to restore what was. And you think about what we always had as an advantage with our franchises. We always had a dominant backcourt. Whether it was there we go. That's it. Whether it was Dumars and Isaiah, whether it's Chauncey and Rip, we always had a dominant backcourt. That's just what we've been when we've been successful. And I think Troy understands that, and we would definitely have that if we have Ivy to pair with Cade Cunningham. And Cade is going to make it work. Everyone says, well, they can't play together. Anybody can play with Cade Cunningham. Right. So you put anybody next to him, he's going to make it work. Maybe it's going to take time, but they can definitely work.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing, according to Woj, who just said this on ESPN during the reporting of the finals, there are reportedly a lot of teams looking to trade up to select Jaden Ivey. And a lot.
Yep.
Well, that number 4 pick is reportedly
so much.
That Sacramento team, like they are waiving that 4th pick, saying that if you want to come trade up and get Jaden Ivey, we will take a player to get better now. So my question is, if it's the cost of not getting Jaden Ivey, are you looking to trade up to number 4, even if that involves giving up with Jerami Grant in order to do so to secure Jaden Ivey? That's the interesting thing. We might be in a situation where we look to do that.
I got to jump in on this because this is something that I posed on a Woodward Pistons podcast about a month and a half ago, and we talked about it several times here on this table talk. And I said, watch the Kings think Troy Weaver is dumb enough to be extorted over Jaden Ivey, and he's just not that dumb. He's just not that dumb. Mm-hmm. That's not swinging for the fences. Look, as much of a talent as he is, that's going a little bit backwards. If you're saying we're going to give up Jerami Grant to the Sacramento Kings to get Jaden Ivey.
Right.
Knowing the Sacramento Kings, they'll take Jerami Grant just for the 4th pick, to be honest with you. They're that stupid. But...
Yeah. I can't rule it out, man. I can't rule it out with the Kings. I really can't.
No.
But if they take Jaden Ivey, so help me God. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know how you guys feel about Shaedon Sharpe. I just don't know. There's way too many question marks. A highly recruited kid coming out of high school. One of the best players in high school coming out, goes to Kentucky, one of the best basketball programs in the country, and just doesn't play. And there's no college tape. And you're like, well, it's a big risk. So if Ivy goes 4, whether it's the Kings or any team that trades up, I think you just turn your attention to Benedict Mathurin because you don't – it's tricky. It's tricky. I wouldn't fault them if they went Sharpe, but I think it's Mathurin – Sharpe in that order.
I think if Killian turned out to be someone more like Halliburton, then you could take a chance on Sharpe. But we didn't miss on Killian, but I think because we didn't hit on Killian, I don't know if we can really afford to miss on Sharpe. So I was all for Shaedon Sharpe, and I was, unlike Jeff, I too saw the light. Jeff Iafredi. Shout out. I don't know if he's listening, but I think obviously
he's
I
out
think
there
Ivy,
somewhere stroking that beautiful hair. That's what he's doing.
Careful how you talk, man. What's wrong with you?
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that, Sean. Careful. Lexi's in the chat, and this is a recorded stream, man. Like, people can dump you with that.
But yeah, no, I think
man.
Ivy. I think Ivy's the right guy. If not Ivy, then I guess I think we have to turn to Benedict Mathurin. I think he might be the next best fit for the team.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay far away from Keegan Murray as possible.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up.
I love you, Carl.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that's interesting.
Bro.
I want to bring it up. Like we're talking about Shaedon Sharpe. One thing I brought up with Kool-Aid that we want to talk about on air. One interesting thing is so far from what we've learned, a couple of guys talked today. Keegan Murray and Shaedon Sharpe both were available to the media and talked about teams that they worked out with. And Benedict Mathurin has worked out with the Pistons. Shaedon Sharpe has not. So currently Shaedon Sharpe has worked out with the Charlotte Hornets. I believe he's worked out with the Spurs. He's worked out with the Thunder and the Magic. And Keegan Murray and Benedict Mathurin both have worked out for the Pistons as well. So with that, I think it's kind of interesting that Shaedon Sharpe, it's a guy that a lot of fans have really loved, and he's kind of been a divisive thing. But Troy Weaver, from the sounds of it, hasn't brought him in for a workout. Now that could be throwing people off the trail. However, I would think you would at least bring someone in before you're going to pick him. That's just, I mean, it's not always the case, but with Troy Weaver, I would think you would at least do his due diligence if he was going to think about Sharpe at 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this section was about. It was about Benedict Mathurin. Is he underrated? Are the other prospects underrated? And I'm gonna start with Lexi here, man. Yo, your faces, you went through a roller coaster of emotions. We all know. Look, her prospect is Keegan Murray. And I'm wondering if he's underrated.
Oh, no way. Whoops.
Yeah.
Bro.
I apologize.
That's what we're gonna start there, man. Look,
I was waiting to see his face.
Keegan Murray. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if we're talking about, like, and I know I saw someone say in the comments or whatever, but you're gonna need to trade, Grant in order for him to work on this team, I think. You know what I mean? So I've been since day one, I'm more or less just standing my ground at this point because I really do think that anyone can play with Cade, and I love Keegan Murray's just attitude and work ethic in the game. And from what I've watched, I think that he will be just kind of in line and follow whatever Cade wants to do, and he's gonna give his all. I know that people call him a boring player, and maybe he doesn't do something that like kind of sticks out as other guys do, but I think that his talent and the way he can develop in the league will surprise a lot of people. But like I said, I'm good with anybody, and I'm learning more about more of these players as we go along, and I just believe in Troy Weaver so much that I'm just excited for anything. So let's do it. Let's run it.
Good take.
Yeah.
Solid take. I see Adam is over there, Matt. Bro, you gotta go next, man.
I'm chilling. Look,
It's bad when Adam feels like an ass. That's the part where you got to reach quite a level when Adam's like, well, now I feel like a dick.
I say one thing a day that honestly, if somebody paid close attention enough, I could probably get canceled. But that's a whole different thing. Keegan Murray, look, he's a nice player. I think he's a role player. I think at best, he's a great number 3. He's an okay number 2. Maybe he can develop into a Chris Middleton, but maybe not as complete offensively. Who knows? He's got a lot of length. That's obviously a nice feature of him. I look at him and I literally see Kyle Kuzma's twin, and I get offended. So, I don't like hating on people for how they look or what school they come from, but there's nobody in the NBA playing from Iowa. Not that it matters. The kid's his own individual player, but I hate to say it. And he looks like Kyle Kuzma. It just pisses me off. I don't know.
Kyle Kuzma is an underrated player, though. I will say he
Shut
actually
up,
could have won Most Improved Player this year. He had that type of campaign.
Sean, I liked you before you just opened your mouth.
Wait, you did?
I did. Yeah, you didn't say anything stupid. Do you want Kyle Kuzma to play next to Cade Cunningham?
No, I'm not saying I want him to play next to Cade Cunningham. I'm not saying he's Kyle Kuzma either, though. That's the way I see Keegan Murray.
But I'm saying, so if you see Keegan as like an okay number 2 or a solid 3, like what I guess at this point, who are we trying to draft? Because Cade is our number 1. and then we got Sadiq, we got, everyone else that we have are going to keep on our team. I just feel like, even with
You
that,
hit it on the head.
that would
you
be a
hit the nail on
decent
the
pick.
head.
Yeah,
Ideally, you're going for a star player. You're going for a guy that can be at least a 4, 5, 6-time All-Star during their career. A guy doesn't need to be as good as Cade. You're not looking for a superstar. If you just get a star player, that I think is enough.
Yeah.
You could get Keegan Murray, but then are you going to rely on Sadiq Bey to be the number 2? I don't think he can be that.
Yeah.
You're looking for a guy that's freakishly athletic, a guy that can get to the basket, play off the ball. When Cade Cunningham's on the bench, is this guy going to give me buckets? Is he able to facilitate? We're demanding a lot from all these kids. I'm not just hating on Keegan Murray. I mean, all these kids, none of them are walking into the league right now ready to put up 22, 5, and 4. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Honestly, my thing with Keegan Murray's always been, I wonder if he's going to be on the board at 5. Because if the Kings keep the pick, I've said all along, I think that's the logical destination for Keegan Murray. Is actually
only the Kings would do it.
Exactly.
Well, honestly, though, I mean, like for what their team needs are, for they have Harrison Barnes, who they could replace their salary with.
They gave up
Keegan
Tyrese Halliburton. The NBA gods will never let them get to the playoffs, let alone win a play-in game.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, like if there was the player that could come in and perhaps help them do that the quickest, I would argue that's probably Keegan Murray. So, to me, that would make the most sense. However, I mean, whether it's Benedict Mathurin, who is a stud, whoever walks out with Benedict Mathurin, no matter who drafts him, and no matter where it is, we could be looking at Benedict Mathurin and going, how did
What's
he fall
his
that
NBA
far?
comp, Sean?
I was just about to ask that. Go ahead.
Man, interesting question. NBA comp for Benedict Mathurin. Honestly, I see kind of like, so it's interesting. I kind of see like a Herb Jones or a Jose Alvarado type thing for the Pelicans. That's why I've seen a lot of mock drafts say him. I see him as like just your prototypical 3-and-D guy, where he can come in just like a lot of those guys like Herb Jones did for New Orleans this past year. Guys like Jay Crowder.
What if I said Andrew Wiggins?
For Andrew Wiggins? I mean,
what if I said Andrew Wiggins? That's what I think he is.
That's a great addition. That's an awesome addition. I mean, look at the Warriors have shown that guys like Andrew Wiggins can come in and have a ton of impact. I don't know if his offensive upside is there of Wiggins, but I think with what the value and the role that he can play, I like the Wiggins comp.
Yeah, I like the Wiggins comp. I think more so KCP.
Somebody
who may not have the skill set offensively, but somebody who, if you put him in the right situation, he won a championship. Now, granted, it was with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but he is a winner. He's someone who's not really going to hurt you on the floor. He's not gonna wow you, but he's not going to hurt you. He can help you win.
I'll be totally honest. I watched about maybe 15 minutes of Benedict Mathurin playing basketball because Jeff wouldn't leave me the hell alone. And then I looked at his college stats, and then I went back and watched a few important games against some better teams, and holy hell, that's a kid with high upside. 17 points his second year in college. Very solid very respectable 3-point percentage. Shoots 46, 47%. His 2-point shot's about 52%. So anything below the 3-point mark. I mean, he's a player that I think if you could pick an NBA player that you'd like to see him develop, it would be Game 5 Andrew Wiggins. Not every night, but a guy that can attack the basket. He can get rebounds. He can hit a 3, maybe 2, maybe 3 when he's hot. Who knows? I don't know if this is a streaky shooter or a guy that's just going to be a consistent 3-point threat. Steph Curry changed the game. Everybody needs to be able to hit a 3-point shot now. That's what made LeBron so good, and that's what won him another championship, is he developed this game. You guys mentioned Golden State a little bit and LeBron. Cade Cunningham, I think, is a little nice version of Steph and LeBron in terms of his selfish or unselfishness, his willingness to be a team guy. That matters. And when he's your superstar, you can get away with not having an Anthony Davis or a Kevin Durant or whoever the hell you want to pair him with. I think he can win with Sadiq Bey, a star number 2, and you're going to have to address the 5 position. If you can get a Robert Williams type, that would be ideal. But
absolutely,
we're years away. So let's just please God get a star because I can't.
Oh yeah, and that's why, like, you know, like if you were to argue, like if you were to look at this draft and say who's the best fit day one, Benedict Mathurin's he's the best fit day one. But like you said, it's like at a certain point when you're the Pistons and you're at the position that you're at, you're not drafting for what your fit is. You're drafting at who's the best player available at that position. So even if Benedict Mathurin's on the board at 5, if Jaden Ivey's on the board as well, I just have a hard time passing on him just because of that upside. I mean, granted, if you get it, like you said, you know, there's merit to getting a guy like Keegan Murray or a guy like Benedict Mathurin who can come in day one, have a solid floor, play really good basketball, be a dependable starter for a long time. But at the same time, how many times have we seen the Pistons draft good players, but leave even better ones on the board after them too? So that's the thing of like, you just want to make sure that whoever you're getting here, that it's the right guy. That's really the simple thing.
The comforting thing here is that I believe this front office, the coaching staff, the development staff, and all of that, if they make a mistake, I do believe they have the opportunity to hedge their bets a little bit better than some of the previous teams. You know, when they drafted Stanley Johnson, he should have turned out to be a much better player than the SVG regime panned him out to be, because he went to Toronto and showed a little bit more, but by that time I just believe he was kind of just mentally out of it. You know, so I do respect this team, this organization, you know, whoever's in these places right now, in the front office, I don't know who's doing film, who's doing all of the advanced stats and all of that type of stuff, but these guys, they've shown a little bit different as it relates to helping these players develop. So I do look forward to that. With Benedict Mathurin, you know, if there's a college player in this draft that fits the mold of, if he winds up in this place of just stand in the corner and shoot, which you hear a lot of fans complain about, you know, if there's no plays ran for this player, what is he gonna be? He can shoot his tail off. He can shoot his tail off. Go look at his numbers from the corner, catch and shoot from the corner. He can shoot his tail off, man, and that's what kind of excites me, because he also has that athleticism. When you can shoot from the corners and you start to give anything like a pump fake or a triple threat size up, and I'm just giving you a little jab, then he's dunking on people. Absolutely. Easily. And we keep talking about this NBA spacing. We keep talking about all of these players who played in horrible spacing. You go and you look at Jaden Ivey, you go and look at Benedict Mathurin. These guys didn't have a lot of spacing. They didn't have a whole lot of good teammates. They were the best players on their teams. Benedict Mathurin, Pac-12 Player of the Year. You know, he's going to be playing now with guys that are going to be commanding so much more attention.
Yep.
Cunningham is going to be absorbing all the attention from the defense when he's driving, when he's playing pick and roll with whatever lob threat they bring in, if it's still Marvin Bagley. And that's where people have to start thinking, yo, he's going to have the opportunity and the space and the availability to absolutely develop into what we think he can be.
Yep.
Now, if I was off the board, we keep talking about, we want a guy who can, we keep talking about, yo, we want a guy who can shoot, or do we need somebody who's uber and freakishly athletic? Doesn't Benedict Mathurin kind of combine both of those into one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he does. I think people the majority of people just don't think that he is close to that level. I'm not one of those people, but I think a lot of people think that Ivy may be at a higher level than Mathurin is with those two things. But I don't think that the gap is that big, personally. So I'm with you on that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Promised my dad I'd watch the game with him, so I gotta get the hell out of here, and then I gotta prep for the show.
Adam,
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Guys, nice seeing you.
I love, man.
Hey,
Thank you so much, guys.
Fuck me, man. We had the boss on.
My man. Just do me a favor. Don't invite me again if Sean's on, please.
You know I love you, Adam.
See you guys.
All jokes aside, I love that, man. Shout out to Adam Baydoun for hopping on, man. And hey,
Yes, sir.
listen, man. Adam Baydoun knows his basketball. Okay, like let's just we're not gonna address much beyond that. We're just gonna say this: we love Adam Baydoun. Adam Baydoun knows basketball. Okay, with that.
Oh yeah, come on, man. Yeah.
100%.
Hey, I got to shout out Bravo. I got to shout him out, man.
Bravo.
Yeah,
What's
no,
up, Bravo?
yeah. This is somebody who, since I've been tuned on to just his content, his basketball knowledge, I've been thoroughly impressed, man. I love Pistons Twitter. I love Pistons content creation world because it's some knowledgeable people out there. And he was talking about Davion Mitchell, and he was talking about Scotty Barnes. Nobody, I promise you, nobody was talking about him like that. And when Scotty Barnes got picked when he did, I was like, huh? And when he wound up winning Rookie of the Year, the first individual I thought of, other than Cade Cunningham, was freaking Bravo. And I was just like, wow. You know, so I'm for real, man. Yo, I want to take this time on the stream to make sure I give him his flowers.
Shout out to Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo's a real one, man. He's one of those guys that, like, whenever I'm in streams with King or whenever anything's going on, spaces, this is a guy that's just there ready to go. So he loves his team, man. So he's a great guy.
Definitely, man. I just wanted to definitely highlight this question here. He says he's curious if we saw Woj talking about the Kings willing to trade Ivy. I know we talked about it a little bit, but I don't mind rehashing it a little bit more as we get into before we get into what we're going to talk about with Cade and KD and the NBA Finals. But you know, what do you guys think about this, man? This whole Kings trade. You know, are you guys willing to give up Jerami Grant to get Jaden Ivey?
Now, if there's a scenario, and I don't think it's possible, but if there's a world where we're walking out with both the 4th and the 5th pick, this is a conversation I'm very much willing to have. Because if we can if there's a world where we can walk out with Jaden Ivey and Keegan Murray, I'm taking that scenario. You kidding me? Are you telling me you're not taking that? I mean, absolutely.
Love that scenario.
Every day of the week, it's twice on Sundays, man. Heck yeah. But again, it's coming down to what they're going to want in return. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. If you want my honest opinion, I think, like we talked about, I think this is the Kings just doing everything they can to secure a playoff bid. I don't think they're actually going to find someone that's going to be willing to give up much to trade for that 4th pick. Now, Jaden Ivey's a great player, and there's a lot of teams that would want to look to improve and bolster their talent. It's just, what would a team have to give up to get that 4th pick? That's the question. Because you would have to be really thinking you're getting a franchise player, right? The last guy that we saw get traded up at the top was Luka Doncic and Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the last time we saw it. So it would have to be for that caliber of a player. Is Jaden Ivey that caliber of a player? I don't know. But that's where the difficulty comes in. You just don't know what they want.
Yeah.
So what I do know, the Boston Celtics are currently up 12-2. Kool-Aid talking about all this smack over here.
I'm recording. Yeah, I'm not watching it. Sean is like the ultimate. Sean is the ultimate spoiler. I'm recording.
I'm not spoiling anything.
I am recording the game. I'm off my phone. I don't want to know nothing about that game.
I mean, this is the second time that he's apologized. Should I get like an award or something? Like, I feel like that's like should I just get a job?
You should
get
a special shout out in his
Oh
that's
my
hilarious.
gosh. It's the first quarter. I know. I'm just joking. I'm just giving Kool-Aid a hard time.
Before we get into it, I want to give Kool-Aid some flowers. Because a week ago, it was 2-1 Celtics.
Hey, let's get it.
Right? And he was just saying everybody's writing off the Warriors. Don't write off the Warriors. And I think Sean and I, we both picked the Celtics in 7, and I think it's still going to play out that way. But I do think that a lot of people wrote off the Warriors after those first couple games, and I think what we're seeing now is championship pedigree.
Wait, that really just happened?
No.
I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it's Chuck Brewer. Of course it did happen.
It's Chuck. Just expect
Damn it, Chuck.
He's here. It's because of me. It's doing it to me. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's here to mess with me. If you ever wonder what's Chuck doing, he's making fun of Sean. That's
you usually can translate for me, but I know you can also kind of Chuck Brewer translate for the people as well. Let them know what that actually says.
What that says is here's what this really says. OMG, LOL, Sean, look dumb. Steph scored 5 threes in a row. If you turn that fast. That's what that says. Imagine what that would look. That's exactly what that is. It's like, oh wow, look, Sean looks like an idiot again. That's exactly what this means. Not always, but 90% of the time. 90% of the time, Chuck. Oh my God.
So let me ask you guys, how do you guys see the rest of the series playing out?
Man,
I had Warriors in 6, so that's just what I'm going to stick with.
Ooh.
Come out in the second half and run it home.
You know they're taking it to Game 7.
I know.
You know they're taking it to Game 7, and the Warriors will take it. They'll take it at home.
Warriors
Yeah.
and 7, Carl. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Kool-Aid. What Kool-Aid? Did you say Warriors and 6 or 7?
I said Warriors and 7, and the K Crusaders said Celtics and 6.
Oh.
Yeah, but no. But all seriousness, no. I've been saying Warriors and 7. I feel like this is Steph Curry's final to win or lose.
Yeah,
that's what it all boils down to. If he's anywhere within striking distance, within that last 5 minutes of the game, the Warriors, they have a gear that they can turn up. I know their defense isn't as strong, man for man, pound for pound, as Boston's. But what did you see in some of those wins down the stretch? You saw Klay Thompson turn back the time and look exactly like his all defensive team self. He absolutely shut down those wings. You saw Wiggins do the same thing. You saw Jordan Poole go into Boston and as well as come back to to Golden State and play like he was just absolutely fearless. These guys, they don't care, man. And that's the thing. Like, they're just kind of fearless. Now, are they streaky? Are they can they be inconsistent? Yeah, and that's why I say it boils down to one Mr. Steph Curry, because Tatum and Brown in one of them games, they didn't have bad games. They both combined for like 43, 45 points. The problem is Steph had 45 points or something like that, 2 points. That's the problem,
Yeah. The other thing, like, there's just so many shots that they had where, like, for Boston specifically, these past couple games where it's just looked like their offense has been so difficult. They've had to work for everything. And there's just been so many, I just remember so many jump shots from Brown and Tatum alike that were just long contested mid-range shots, like long twos where they were right by the 3-point line. Just these like low efficiency, low reward shots that were putting them out of the game. And it was like, part of it was just because they were so gassed because they couldn't get past Wiggins. It was just the type of defense he was playing. So, I just think, tonight in Boston, I just, in my opinion, that's one of the hardest arenas in basketball to win in, especially in a closeout game where the Celtics are on the brink of elimination. I just have always felt this game was going to go 7 games. And in my opinion, what better way to end NBA 75 than with the best modern era dynasty and perhaps the winningest franchise in history, duking it out for an NBA title. I mean, that's just, listen, man, you can't write this stuff better.
Yeah, you really can. I think I have the Celtics in 7, but I think the issue that the Celtics are running into now is defensively, what do we do? Because 2 games ago, Steph Curry exploded 40+ points, right? And you could just say, he had a great game. He's not going to have 40 every game. But then the very next night, they get the ball out of his hands and everyone else goes off.
Yep.
So now it's like, what do you do now? And I think that's the issue they're going to run into tonight is how do you guard this team? Because everybody is looking to be in their final form at the perfect time. Wiggins is playing his best basketball right now.
And now it's Game 6 Clay. It's Game 6 Clay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was looking at that. He got
Absolutely.
a couple times, though.
Yeah, but to Boston's credit, they have been in this position before in the playoffs against the defending champions. They were down 3-2 against the Bucks, and they came back and won that series. So they're very resilient. So I think if they get this one tonight, which I think they will, I think they need to win this game going away, though. If it gets close in the fourth quarter and tight, I trust the Warriors more than I do the Celtics in that situation. But if they can get it to a Game 7, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and I don't even, like I keep saying, I don't even really trust the Warriors like that. There are some players and some components there, but this is about Steph. And the Warriors have a weird way, just like the Miami Heat, of just kind of staying in games, staying muddied up, staying close, hitting some Tommy threes, and then all of a sudden, Steph time. And it's just absolutely like, wow, this dude is, even if you're a fan of him, it's almost like, or even if you like watching him play, it's almost like, he's an annoying player, bro. Like, I play great defense. It doesn't matter. I picked him up at half court. It doesn't matter. That's the type of stuff that's just like, there's certain things that just transcend all type of basketball logic.
Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
I agree, bro.
Steph Curry is just one of those guys, man.
His range is insane. Like when you see him pulling threes from the logo, and you still seeing coaches going like this to the defense, like get up on. It's like I'm already up on him. Well,
well, then when you have Jordan Poole hitting circus shots too, and like that's the thing. It's before the Warriors had 2 guys who could hit circus shots on you. Now they have 3.
Yeah.
So it's really just one of those things where, you just kind of guys all around the court can just pull up from literally anywhere past the half court line.
Yep.
So that's the reality you have to live in. And, for Boston, if they're going to ultimately pull this out and win it in game 7, they're going to need Jason Tatum from the Milwaukee series to step up and come in and be ready to go. They need him offensively to be aggressive and to be that number one guy for them down the stretch, because Jaylen Brown has taken a lot of responsibility and has done a lot of great things. But Jaylen Brown's not Jason Tatum. No matter what he does, he's just not Jason Tatum. So they're going to need Jason Tatum to be that guy he's been for them all year long in order for them to close this out.
Yeah, he hasn't had a signature game yet.
Nope.
Like we just saw Steph have. He hasn't had that yet.
I would argue he hasn't had one since game 6 of the Milwaukee series. Exactly. I would argue like even throughout that Miami series, he never had a game where it was like, man, Jason Tatum. Like there were some moments, but there was never a game. There was never like a complete game. So I think it's been a couple rounds since we've seen that.
You missed a couple of them, man. How are you feeling about this NBA Finals? You got to fill us in.
Yeah.
I think it's been great. Like I love Jordan Poole. Let's just say that. Like he's been my guy from the get-go.
He just scored, by the way.
Well, I'm proud, and even when he doesn't, I don't care. I'm still proud. But it's not about like what I expected, because I thought it was going to be a pretty good matchup, anyways. But just anytime I think Steph can't do anything else, he just comes out and just does it again. And I'll never understand the hatred for him, or the people that just want to never think that he doesn't amount to something the top 5 even players of all time, and he just absolutely has. And like you said, this finals is for him. It's up to him in the end. Like if he wins, he beat the Boston Celtics. It wasn't everyone else. It was Steph.
Yeah. But if the Warriors lose, I don't think Steph Curry loses them the finals either. I think that's just the tough thing of. No. I think that's the thing. I think he should
be MVP no matter what. Like let's be honest.
Yeah, but I think to your point though, Lexi, I think this is very reminiscent for the LeBron Cleveland teams that we saw back in the day, where this is a situation where Steph just has to take on more of a load. I would say this is way more talented than that Cleveland team that LeBron bought. I mean, listen, when you have Klay Thompson and Draymond Green on your team, it's inherently more talented. But like what I'm saying is that this team their winning recipe is heavily reliant on Steph putting up 30 points a night. Even with Wiggins and Thompson and Draymond, it still relies. If Steph isn't on, like game 5 was an anomaly. That's not that's the exception, not the rule. Yeah. So they're gonna need him
17 points a night. Not happening.
It depends though, because Jordan Poole is a wild card. Klay Thompson is a player that is becoming a little bit more dependable scoring wise that they haven't gotten. So as they're almost turning into some nights a different team throughout the year. And now Klay wants to start hitting. Oh, now Jordan Poole wants to start hitting too. Whereas Boston, they've kind of been this more consistent ship all the way around. If Steph Curry gets just enough, you want your stars scoring 30 points in the final. You do. Mm-hmm. You want them really gunning for that, especially if they have the efficiency and effectiveness to be able to do it. But if Steph is getting to that 40 and 45, it's going to be a long freaking night for you.
Yeah.
Because guarding him. Boston needed Marcus Smart. And, having to chase these guys around, I think is affecting them just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said that. He actually said that, bro, in the post game. He said, you can never relax. He said, if you relax for 1 second, he bombs you.
I know. Well, and that's what's so impressive. It'll be like a breath of a shot he can get off in between like 2 defenders, and he just makes it look so easy every time. You're like, how did you even choke that up there? And why did it swish, not even hitting the net? Like,
I think, I'm with you. That's just the legend of Steph Curry. He's doing this against the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Well,
that's the crazy thing. He'll find your weaknesses and attack like every time.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. Like in this Warriors team, like on the offensive end, like you said, like when you're playing defense against them, you always have to be working because you always have to be moving because Steph doesn't stop moving. Mm-hmm. But then when you go and play offense, their team is so physical with guys like Wiggins and everyone else in the lineup that you have to work your ass off on that end too. So you're truly never resting. When you have guys like the Hawks or certain teams like where they have super heliocentric guys, they rely on Trae Young having a moment to take a breather. But the Warriors are truly the one team in the NBA where on both ends of the court there is no rest. There's no resting place.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, I want to get your opinion on this NBA Finals before we get into what Mr. Gerald Perry. Shout out Mr. Gerald Perry. Shout out Mr. Ray. Jerem knows sports. I'm seeing a lot of our regulars in there. Just want to make sure we say this. Yeah, man, definitely. But man, let me get your thoughts on the NBA Finals before we get into what Mr. Perry is talking about.
It's been fun to watch. I think it's been cool to see Boston finally get there. You know, all these years they drafted Tatum. They've been waiting on Jaylen Brown Brown, and I think it's just cool to see them finally get to where they always wanted to go. I'm not a bandwagon Warrior fan or anything like that. I'm not a super fan, but I think it'd be cool to see the Warriors just get one more. I think after this, though, I think it's probably over. At least I don't know how much more they can do unless they get another star or something like that. But
I mean, the West doesn't get easier from here.
It doesn't.
You're going to have teams like Utah that are going to be looking to make a lot of changes this summer. Phoenix, Dallas. Right. I mean, Phoenix, we have no idea because even though they might be getting rid of DeAndre Ayton, we don't know what they could build around Devin Booker and Chris Paul in return. And then you have the Lakers that you can never rule out with LeBron. I mean, the West just has a lot of figures in there that makes it harder for Golden State to say we can keep going beyond this year.
Yeah. And let's get into this comment here because you know what? I didn't even think about this, and this is a great point. With no real true point guard, the ball movement, the creativity, the instinctual, just going out there to make a play, those things take a huge dive, especially with players when they get tired when they're in the fourth quarter. If you're not naturally a playmaker, what do people do when they get tired? They fall into their natural habits. If you're not naturally a playmaker and you're a scorer, your whole mindset starts to change, and you do see them get a little bit more one-on-one versus dribble handoff, pick and roll, sharing the ball, getting around when the offense is just flowing. And I think that might be hampering a few things in their fourth quarters over the last couple games. I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Sean, I'm going to start with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think this has been the biggest thing that's been plaguing this team almost from the beginning of the season. I think this has just been one of their biggest weaknesses, and I think they've been so good defensively that they've been able to shield the major flaw. I think Marcus Smart is a guy that brings so much value to the Boston Celtics, but at the same time, a lot of his shortcomings too just hurt them in the sense that when Marcus Smart is a consistent part of the offense and when he's scoring 15, 20 points and also passing the ball and being an impact on that end, the Boston Celtics very rarely lose games. And that was the whole idea of having Kyrie alongside Tatum and Brown, was to have that star point guard that can create for them as well. And so for the Celtics,
out of his own way.
Yeah. Whereas, you guys now with the Celtics, you're in a situation financially where you don't really have the money to go sign another point guard to put alongside those guys. I mean, they tried it again with Kemba Walker too. We saw how well that worked out,
You're
so
right,
with Marcus, he's a fantastic player. And if every night he can put up 20 points a game and do some things, the problem is you're asking him to be that defensive, force and ask him to guard multiple positions and do everything for you on the defensive end. The tough thing for them, if they want to improve in that position, how are you going to do that without giving up a guy like Marcus Smart to make it happen? Because the star point guards you're going to be able to get, I mean, are you going to be able to afford Colin Sexton this summer? And even then, is that going to be the piece that makes the difference? I just think they need somebody to make offense easier for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, because that's clearly what's missing right now. They're making it easier for the guys around them, but who's making it easier for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? The answer is nobody.
I was gonna say, I think what's really important in order to beat a team like the Warriors, I think you need to have a point guard who knows how to control pace. You think about LeBron James; he knew how to control pace. He didn't let them speed him up. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think Marcus Smart is a converted point guard. He's not a true point guard. So I don't think he really understands how to control the pace of a game when the Warriors start going on those runs and slow
Whereas
the game down.
LeBron's natural instincts is more point guard-esque, more
Exactly.
magic.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, man, I get it. Oh my gosh, look like the Warriors are doing Warrior type things right now. And
Hey, don't spoil it for Deuce,
Oh,
man.
man.
He's trying to not find out what's happening in this game, bro.
Yeah, I'll do this instead. I'm sorry, Deuce.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
You got you a +1 tonight.
Wow, this or that team sure did a good or bad thing.
Oh, Sean, stop spoiling. I'm just.
I wanted to highlight this just real quick, man, as we kind of bring it back to Pistons. We can talk about whatever, obviously. We do whatever we want. It's a table talk. But, you know, some of these questions, man, they are interesting. Somebody said, what should the Pistons be looking for in these prospects? You know, me personally, it's just talent. You know, if we don't have opportunity to draft talent, you know, then, yeah, you start to parse guys, and that most safe player where we're picking is probably Keegan Murray. You know, if you do not have an opportunity to draft an Ivy, or if you have an opportunity to draft Ivy and another player, you're probably looking at Keegan Murray or, for me personally, Benedict Mathurin. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's just talent. As much as you can get in one of these prospects, that's what you got to go for. And Carl, man, I want to ask you next, brother. What do you think the Pistons should be looking for in these prospects?
We need talent. Troy said it. He said it over and over. We just need talent. I mean, and any of these guys that we've been talking about, they'll do the job. And yeah, I'll admit even Keegan Murray. We just need talent. That's all that we need, really.
Yeah. I would agree with you, bro. I remember going back to that interview you mentioned. He said, we need guys who can score the ball.
Yeah.
And someone said, what are you looking for? You know, easy buckets at the rim, 3-pointers. He said, I don't care how you get them. 1s, 2s, 3s. It doesn't matter. We just need somebody who can score the ball. So to kind of go along with what you're saying, bro, I think we need to kind of get that talent and then allow Troy to do whatever he needs to do to make that work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like Gerald Perry here is telling us to go out there and draft Benedict Mathurin and trade for Ayton. Anybody see that there? Athletic shooter, and then we also go out there and sign us a rim protector. I'm down for that, man.
Listen, man, go get game changers this summer, man. Go get guys who can affect the game, whatever way that is. We just need guys who can affect winning in positive ways. Whether it's a guy like Keegan Murray who could do it in a multiple faceted ways, which is why he's so intriguing as a prospect. Whether it's a guy like Jaden Ivey who has upside and shown that he can possibly be an all-star guard in this league. You know, there's multiple different ways that we can add game changers to this roster. So there's game changers all throughout this draft. It's like what the Lions talked about, how they needed to bring in game changers. We need the exact same thing, man. We need guys who can impact winning. And so, you know, like whether it's a guy who can put the ball in the basket, whether it's a guy who can do it on the defensive end, there's so much value in so many different ways in this draft class. So I would truly not say no to having the opportunity to draft Mathurin or Murray as well as one of these awesome guards. But man, I mean, even if we end up with a guy like Duren as well, there's not a bad route for us to go. There really isn't.
Yeah, no, this top 7, top 8, even top 10 prospects it's
awesome.
Nice. But Lexi, man, we gotta get your thoughts. What are the Pistons? What do you think they should be looking for out of these other prospects?
I mean, I think that, you know, like we've all agreed on that anyone's going to play good with Cade, you know, but you just want someone that's going to be like reliable on creating offense when he's on the bench. So I think that they're just going to look for a playmaker. They're also going to look for someone who's going to be a role player with Cade, which could be really anybody in the top 10, let's be honest, you know. So I just think that they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do. And that's kind of like why I'm just like so ready for this draft, so I can just see the direction we're taking, because we're all just kind of taking our own guesses on which way they're going to go. But there's so many ways where it can go in like so many different directions. So I think once the draft happens, then we'll all get like a clear consensus of like maybe what Troy's thinking and what, you know, where.
Well, we never know. We never know what Troy's thinking. We never know what he's thinking. Because even after the draft,
puzzle will be the draft. You know, so I'm gonna try to figure it out once then. But you know, I don't know. I think they're gonna be trying to compete in quicker time than like 5 years. So that's what I think they're gonna be doing. They're gonna be trying to sooner than later.
Yep, I was gonna get into this question here.
Remember, I am Troy Weaver's best friend, so I know what Troy Weaver's thinking. I need to remind everybody.
I just wish I could see the bottom half of his face to really
Listen.
see how he was feeling in that moment.
Listen. Have I not told? Okay, I know I've told the story before, but I don't care. It was the funniest human interaction of my entire life because this guy literally, I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Weaver, I'm a huge fan. I love your basketball team. Can I please get a photo with you? And I expect him just to be stoic and to be like, I appreciate that, but I have some things to conduct. This man just doesn't say a word and just goes, like just goes and leans in for the photo and the most awkward just he literally just goes. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Just this Troy Weaver, just this stoic man that I see as an assassin.
I love Troy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that man. He's here and he was super nice. He was super, he had to get going. I was just like, thank you so much. He's like, absolutely, have a great night, and like just was super nice. So
that's cool.
But no, in all seriousness, I know exactly what he's thinking at all times.
Yeah, I love how he does press conferences too, man. How he just
I know.
He looks like, man, you're gonna really
he's cool, calm, and collected all the time.
Dude, it's honestly
like how I feel about like a Brad Holmes too, though. I just feel like it's they're just so similar, and I'm so excited for but it's the calm, cool, collected, isn't gonna act like crazy about something. He's gonna kind of keep to himself and just
poor Alabama coming down the GM room like that, bro.
Dude, it's some you know what it really is? It's some mob boss shit. Now. You know that whatever it's some mob boss shit. Whatever comes across their table, they're not afraid. That like they could literally lay like a row of dead bodies on that guy's table and he's not gonna be phased. You'll be like, so what you got? Like he is cold-blooded, man. Like he's cerebral, he's honest. He honestly whenever I talk about like Weaver, like whenever we think of like Troy Weaver seasons upon us, I think it's like in Game of Thrones. It's like winter's coming. It's like that cerebral type of Game of Thrones political type of mental mastermind type thing, Yeah. It's like that's what I think of when I think of Troy Weaver, man.
Yeah. Yep. All right, look, y'all. I was gonna say, this is a good question to talk about because this is really important. We're talking about bringing in guards who. It pushes other people further down the draft slot. We know we got some talented people. I mean, further down the rotation. And we also know we have some talented people in the G League who are really, really hungry to take somebody's spot on this roster. Saban Lee, I don't believe that he's just trying to play in the G League another year. There are decisions that have to be made on some of these players as well. So, but I think this question, I'm sorry, John, I think this one can kind of go in with it. It's would you be willing to have another season like last year if you knew we would get a top 3 or 4 pick next year?
If there's one thing I learned, but the one thing that we realized this year is that tanking doesn't work. We fell 2 spots. We could have fallen more.
Well, it cost us that fall.
Yeah, it did. It did. It cost us. So I think. And our players, they don't want to lose. You saw at the end of the season, they don't want to lose. And I think that's more important than trying to get another player, which we might not even get because we might get 7th.
That's what I'm saying. You build that culture. You build the winning culture when you can. Especially
I think there's a certain point in a rebuild where losing games no longer serves a purpose. Yeah, and I think we've reached that point. Because in my opinion now, it's about just seeing how many wins we can get on the board to see these guys actually start to get some confidence and thrive and go in the right direction. Because now you don't want to crush these kids' confidence. They're at a point where, Sadiq's in year 3. This is a point where it's time to show what kind of contract you're worth. Yep. It's time to show what your value is in this league. Cade Cunningham, this is year 2. You want to step up. You want to step up and improve upon what happened last year. Killian, year 3, Isaiah Stewart, year 3, very similar things. So I think you're looking, at a roster that has gone through a lot, but also towards the end of last year started to get the foundations of their identity, the fundamentals of who they are as a team. And when you start getting that, you don't try to lose games anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I totally agree, bro. I don't think you want to have young guys come into a situation to where they're used to losing. I
Mhm.
don't
Right.
think that's a good thing. You think about a guy like Cade Cunningham, a franchise player. We should not expect Cade Cunningham to be Damian Lillard, to where he's just going to say, regardless what happens, I'm a Piston for life. We don't want that. We don't want by the end of his rookie contract, we're saying, oh, what's going to happen with
Bro, we're better fans than
The Blazers are lucky that Damian Lillard he's so loyal to them, because we got to be careful with Cade. We have to be careful with Cade. We just don't want him to get the wrong idea that
Yeah, I mean the Cunninghams are super glad to be here, and they love Detroit, and they're all in on Detroit. But
Right
the
now.
thing is, we have to be all in on him in return, and that means
There you go.
ponying up and paying up when it's time. That means putting the guys around him and maximizing the time that you do have with Cade Cunningham,
That's
so
it.
that you make him want to stay for his
That's
career.
it.
That's
Right.
the truth.
That's
You
it.
know the difference between a rebuild and a restore? You know the difference? A rebuild means, hey, Phoenix is rebuilt, beautiful. You know, Philadelphia is rebuilt, beautiful. But rebuilds don't mean you end in championships. This team is restoring because of the championship history and pedigree that runs through what this team actually is, man, in its history. And that's the difference. And that's why I love when Troy Weaver actually stopped to sit down and ask, oh, you keep talking about restore. Is that your new marketing ploy? And he just looked at somebody like, wait, you know, you cover this team, basically. You know, he didn't say this. Look on his face like you cover this team. You sit here, you see these trophies, you see these banners, you see the jerseys that are in the rafters, whether people think we have too many or not. Bro, it's about the fact that we weren't supposed to have, but we do. We have championships. We have Hall of Fame players. We have a pedigree now. We're going to restore to that because this is about winning championships. And Cade said it. Losing sucks. What did he say in this interview? The NBA, media, the world shows us. They only care. They only care if you're winning. If you're not winning, you're a loser. That's just as simple as you can put it. And Cade Cunningham, his family, Ashton, these people, they are not losers, man. And so for the sake of it, man, bro, I want them to win for Cade. I do not want to get to, you know, one of these contract decisions. He's just sitting there pining to be somewhere else. Even though we know he'll sit here and probably depressively just, you know, do what he can. I don't know. I'm ready to see this team win.
Yeah, absolutely. And
one more thing. Just as a fan from Carls, you said it, from that Grand Hill era, that means you have seen this team kind of restore, rebuild. You saw them go through this championship era. And I'm just ready for that. It's been too long. It's been too long. Sean deserves a run like that, bro. Look at him. I think he's crying for one right now.
Those tears or what? I don't know what's going on.
So I know we said no spoilers.
I'm about to get off.
No, okay, hold on, Deuce. How about Deuce? How about take off your headphones and we'll motion you when you can come back. Deal? It's worth it for the content.
I gotta
It's
get
worth it for the
going
content.
soon, guys. I ain't gonna lie too. So.
It's worth it for the content.
Thank you,
Listen,
Lexi.
ever since I made that joke with Kool-Aid that the Celtics were dominating, the Warriors have gone on a 21-0 run and are now up by 15.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone's tweeting all that stuff early. It's
Are you
like,
serious?
So I make all these jokes and I talk all this smack, and Chuck makes this joke about Steph making 5 threes in a row. Well, you weren't far off.
oh my gosh.
I can't stand you.
Wow.
For the sake of, I had to bring that up. I'm sorry. That was
He's
worth
out
it.
there, Mr. freaking Fearless. I'm hitting the biggest shot of my career in college. I don't care. I'm not supposed to be here. Jordan freaking Poole, bro. I'm telling y'all, that dude he's just looked like, yo, I don't care about any of y'all. I don't even care about my teammates, bro. I'll take the ball from Steph Curry and shoot it. Like, that's the vibes that I get from Jordan Poole. I see him sometimes, and then he'll look at Steph, you know, while he's doing this thing, and then Steph is like, do you. And it's exciting.
It's such a great chemistry. Such a great chemistry.
Yeah, but Boston, man, like to, you know, Deuce, to, you know, Sean's point, they're not, I don't think this game is over. I don't think that they're dead in the water. I could see the Warriors winning tonight, but, you know, they're formidable, man. I see Brown and Tatum. Look at Sean, man. He's like, nah, it might be over.
Austin might be
I
done,
might as
man.
well
It's
just.
not
I might
looking
as well just
good.
put it on. I might as well just.
It's tough, man. They're tough. They're tough.
I'm sorry, Deuce. I'm sorry. Deuce.
Oh man, it's your fault, Sean. It's all your fault.
Hey, you know I love you though. It was worth it for the content. You have to admit.
Hey, anything for the content, bro.
That's
Anything
what I'm
for the
saying.
content.
It's
I
for
can't
the
even be mad.
content, man. That's all I'm saying.
I can't be mad. I
Exactly.
can't be mad.
These
Exactly.
comments though, man. I can't. The comments are killing me, dog.
I want
Shout
to
out to
be real
Mr.
though.
Pri-
I do want to take a moment and
Go
say
ahead, Sean.
we do appreciate y'all, man. All the regulars in the chat. Seriously, like shout out to people like seriously, man. Shout out to people like Carl, dude. Carl, like you are literally one of the most loyal supporters of like all of us. Like I see you all the time in comments on videos, on podcasts, on Twitter discussions, and you're
Retweet
always like,
everything.
and it's always with good vibes and just wanting to be a positive member of the community, man. So
Yeah, for
just
sure.
we're just appreciative of people like Carl, man, of people like Chuck, people like
You know,
all
seriously,
jokes aside, man, just the people that we have that join us every week that
Yeah.
that are all about the positivity and just the love of this team, man. So Carl, dude, seriously, man, just thanks for being the supporter that you are, man.
Yeah.
We love having you here.
Thank you guys for putting out some great content, man.
It means a
Appreciate
lot,
you, bro.
man. Appreciate that.
I was hoping, brother. I was really. Oh, hold on. You were shouting somebody out.
Oh yeah, Mr. Freebie. Mr. Free, that's my guy. I wanted to shout him out real quick.
Hey,
Freebie.
definitely, man.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what this is about. That's definitely
Yes,
what this
sir.
is about, man. This community and
Yeah.
highlighting and getting people on here. Actually, the reason why Carl's on is because I saw him defending a take, bro. Before we close, bro, what was that take? Do you
I'd have to go back and look at it, but it was something about how Ayton is not what we need on this team.
Yeah, you were going in, bro.
Well, I mean, let's just be real. DeAndre Ayton, he'll provide rim protection. He'll provide lob threat. My main thing is look at what happened to Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley was not in a good situation. He didn't want to be in Sacramento.
Mhm.
He came here. Cade made him better. Started scoring 20-plus points a game. The same thing can happen with Ayton. And Ayton's not going to be the only one getting better. I think people like Sadiq Bey will be getting better because defenses will collapse, and it's just gonna provide that much more opportunity for us. So
Well, in addition, Carl, he's 24. You know what I mean?
And
Like
he's
24
24.
into this season, he's going to be 24 years old. So, like,
Right.
what 24-year-old isn't staying up too late playing video games? I know I'm 25. I'm still doing that. You know, it's and no Woj needs to report you that. I will tell you. I stayed up till 2 a.m. playing Elden Ring a couple nights ago. But anyway, the proof's in the pudding, man. But in all seriousness, too, like the other thing is, like you said, Cade makes him better, but it's also having guys like Troy Weaver and Dwayne Casey and people that can hold him accountable and expect that greatness out of him. The other thing too, with the kind of money that he's going to be making, he damn better grow up. Like it's going to be time. So they're going to be a little less. They're going to mince a little less words now that they're going to be putting that kind of price tag behind him.
I will say this: he is going to wherever he ends up, he's going to have a major chip on his shoulder because he's been getting a lot of flack about his play, about
Without
being
a doubt.
third option as a former number 1 pick. That's gonna motivate him to really show up and shine. I think he will.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Hey, well, you know what? Next Thursday, what do we got going on? We got the NBA Draft Watch Party by Woodward Pistons, presented by Woodward Sports.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't be happier. Hey, I can't wait. Hey, Sean, this is all new for you, man. This is all new for you. I'm glad to be rocking the stage with you again.
Let's go! I mean, yeah, I'm excited about it.
You're excited.
No, I'm kidding. Dude, it's gonna be
but
great.
listen, after the draft, you know, obviously we're gonna do our normal table talk, but we might have to have some special live streams before that, so we can give you guys the proper recaps, and we have to talk Marvin Bagley properly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We really do. We have to get into that, but we got to see what the draft shakes out first.
Mhm.
That's the only reason why we really kind of held off from really talking about him. But you know, he's not a bad option for us. He's not a bad option at all.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. This upcoming week on Wednesday, we'll be releasing our for From Half Court. We'll be having our NBA Draft Special Pod, and we are going to be having on Bryce from Motor City Hoops to break down all things the top prospects and everything.
Nice.
So we love Bryce, man. He's a guy. He's another valued member of the community we all love so much. So Jeff and I figured we had to have him on for that. So be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, I'm also that draft stream. Be sure you're tuned in, man. If you tuned into the NBA draft lottery, this is going to be even better. So
we're getting crazy.
Yeah,
we are getting crazy.
It's gonna be lit.
yeah, 100%. So and
There's
listen, man,
guys, I promise.
and listen, man, I just gotta say, I'm just grateful for the Pistons community and y'all, and just being able to have a platform and have the opportunity to cover this team I love, man. I've been watching this team since 2004, 2005 when I was 7, 8 years old. The Cade Crusaders here. Oh my gosh. But in all seriousness, man, I love this team. I love the people that we have in this community, and I just love being a part of this channel, man. So I just appreciate everyone here and what we're doing, and I just appreciate y'all that are here for the ride, because we're really truly just getting started.
Does the Cade Crusader have a goatee?
What's that?
You know what I'm saying? Does Bruce Wayne, does he have a goatee? I'm trying to figure out how they do it in this business. I don't know.
Wait, are you Kool-Aid?
No, I'm not. I am the Cade Crusader.
Okay, I was trying to figure out who was trying to figure out what. That's all. You guys, again, Cade Crusader. The thing that throws me off is that the Cade Crusader and Kool-Aid have the same furniture store that they go to, because they have the exact same chair. It's insane.
What chair?
Wow, never mind. There isn't a chair. You're covering yourself,
it's just
not
the banner.
the chair.
That's his cape. That's the cape right there.
Wait, this actually looks pretty dope.
It does look pretty dope.
Hey, man.
I love how Sound encourages this, bro. I really do.
Shout out to everybody who showed up per usual, man. Looking at everybody here showing love. Chuck, Ryan, Gerald, Marvin, everybody, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Blank man for a little bit. Blank man.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Get back to cool.
I got you.
Sheesh, this game, Deuce. All right, man.
I need to hop off, man.
Yeah, we gotta end this so we can let people watch the finals, y'all.
I want to have just a little bit of element of surprise.
Hey, Kanye West.
Oh gosh.
Let's go, bro.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh! But seriously, man.
Hey, Crusader and Kanye West in the same episode, man. And go Blue Lexi.
Absolutely.
Great to have you back.
Yeah. Be back as always.
Yeah, ain't the same.
Hey man, look, y'all, we appreciate everybody. Hey, go enjoy this game. Hopefully these Warriors can close us off so we can have some good fun conversation.
Hey, follow everyone here on Twitter, man. Follow Kool-Aid, follow Carl, follow Juice, follow Lexi. Be sure to be plugged into the community, man. 100%.
Follow Sean.
Yeah.
Check
Hey, shout out to Everything King. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Pistons Talk. All the people part of Woodward Pistons and what we're about, man. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week for the NBA draft, baby.
Yeah.
Detroit, everybody.
See you guys.
Peace out, everybody. Good strength.